Hello everyone, boys and girls. Welcome back to another From the Depths showcase with ChillBuilder here. Today we got a very quick little update for the Imperial Navy that I showcased earlier, I think 2 weeks ago now. The reason is I created a few, just two additional units for this Imperial Navy fleet. One is this Valkyrie gunship that you see here, and another is this Imperial Navy frigate. So I'll just quickly explain why I created two new units for this fleet, um, and then we'll jump into some combat demo to showcase how they behave. Uh, Sounds some pretty low combat. So if you look at the fleet composition, we got a 24,000 resource fighter bomber, and previously we saw these two units. The next up is a 200,000 resource destroyer, so that's almost an 8 times multiplier between the gap between these two units in terms of cost. So that's a pretty big capability gap. If we throw 8 or 10 fighter bombers against an enemy of this cost, they will succeed, but they can collide, they can get damaged, they can suffer some losses, and of course, in combat, in a campaign, it's just very boring to watch one of these guys fight one fighter, 5 of these fight something that's 5 times the cost, and then 10 of these fighting against something that's 10 times the cost, until we see one of these destroyers. It's just kind of boring to see the same units over and over. So like filling the gap with this frigate and this gunship. And let's have a quick look at the gunship. It's 44,000 resource, fairly high speed, low armor, and decent firepower. It's not a lot of firepower for a gunship of this cost bracket, but these are kinetic missiles, so they're very hard to intercept. And then got a small plasma cannon for self-defense and fighting off other aircraft. I do prefer plasma for these very small units, because plasma damage is always reliable, whereas guns can be very specialized, but their damage can be also completely negated using different types of defense, evasion, or armor design. This is the Thunderbolt fighter bomber that I showcased in the previous video. I'm just kind of showing their relative sizes here. This one costs twice as much. It's approximately the similar size visually. Here we got Valkyrie with all of its armament stripped out, including armor and missile defenses. It's very cheap. It's decently fast, and it's got a small resource capacity. It's got a little bit of harvesting capability, and it's got a little bit of fleet repair capability. So this is kind of a refueling vehicle, early game logistic vehicle before the larger bases can be set up. They can be sent out over the map to kind of steal resource ahead of anyone else. So very well fits in the original lore role of dropship. And here we got the frigate. And it's very much a mixed bag. Standard 31% armor cost with really good firepower for this cost. It's got an efficient plasma cannon, and it's got these broadside direct input feed guns, and these almost decorative frontside sable guns. So against small targets of this cost bracket, it's very difficult for these guns to hit or make meaningful damage, but against larger targets, these ships can act as escort for larger ships, and against larger targets, these guns, they can potentially cause some havoc. So that's why they're there. And the reason I show this ship next to this destroyer is because they share the same AI with some tweaks. to this one has more of a favor for frontside combat, and it rotates to the side for the broadsides. Got these gunships moving in against the Harpies. Let's see how well these missiles do. One of these missiles went for the decoys, but the kinetic missiles immediately evaporated one of the enemies. These gunships have a custom AI that's a null AI, so it's overwritten the default behavior programmed by the developers. So due to that, the automatic detection has been disabled. Well, these missiles are not doing very well. They're not tracking very well. No. But something hit that gunship, and we're not taking too much damage. So yeah, there's minimal amount of armor in the front of these gunships, but it is good armor. Let's just put it that way. And they're not hitting each other just by the virtue of one of the missiles hit. Oh, very wonderful. The ships are avoiding each other just by the virtue of using random number generators. So there's a random number controlling the altitude, their distance from target, and their attack run timer. And I hope really hard that they wouldn't collide. So now they had an AI update for collision avoidance. I did not have time to go back and rewrite the AI for this ship to include the default behavior. So that's why they still have this artifact of development. And we just repair this ship and we can watch them take down a larger target. So this Iron Maiden here, it's a pretty popular early game pinata for testing. Not because it's a very strong target, it's actually quite weak in terms of combat performance, but it's got very high survivability, and in terms of armament, it's got missiles and guns, a little bit of everything. So it's pretty good as a standard benchmark just for having very varied defenses. Yeah, it's a highly survivable target. Let's put it that way. So you can see the gunships going off at hiding at a far range, and then when the missiles are reloaded, they'll come to a closer range to release their missiles. And meanwhile, they're bobbing up and down, swaying side to side. Forgot what I was going to say. I think, yeah, the most important part is they're always facing the target, so they got very minimal amount of armor at 10% armor, but they do have wedges in the front to tank any direct hits from APS, especially from heat guns, which is the standard anti-aircraft armament at the low cost bracket. You can see we dodge any kind of damage and almost disable all of their weapons. Very nice to look at. It's always scary to see them so close to each other. As you can see, random numbers taken apart. For this demo, we'll use a Great Talon Osprey. Hopefully it won't drag on too long. You can see it's a very small invasive target. It's almost like a larger version of the gunship, the Valkyrie gunship that we just demoed. you can see each of these lines represent a thruster inside the hull of this frigate. So it's very much just have to pause speaking to watch those broadsides flying. So each of these lines represent a thruster. So there's so many thrusters on this craft, it's almost impossible to disable it. That's kind of the standard attribute for designing for one of these. At least my interpretation of the Imperial Navy warships is to focus on. Sorry, just had to watch those that cannon firing to the Osprey. The principal concept or design philosophy for the Imperial Navy warships are for redundancy and survivability. So I'm not sure what the ship is doing here. We should face forward toward the target again. Continue pressuring them with our plasma weapons. Once the plasma is disabled, no, it's not disabled. Okay, let's hope we can get on some good shots. Okay, we're firing. That's good. It is a bit of a challenging target. It's very small, and it's an enemy that kites and it faces front toward the target. So it's fairly meta, even though the Osprey is a bit of a dated unit. Let's see. Actually, it's got a author's tag, so it's not that old. Now we can see the kinetic cannons landing that hit, which is pretty rare. That's good. Okay, plasma cannon is still online. Broadsides. So the plasma will be the main damage dealer against a small and compact target like this. Of course, enemies in this cost bracket can also be larger and voluminous, just built with cheaper components. In that regard, the broadside cannons will be better use. So this frigate has a little bit for everything. One thing it doesn't have is a secondary energy weapon for against small swarms, like those Harpy gunships that we saw in the previous demo. And unfortunately, with this cost, it's just not possible to have so many different types of weapons. But I think we can rely on escort aircraft for that purpose. You can see we're taking quite a bit of damage in terms of material cost been removed, but we have lot systems online still, just with the number of broadside guns. Also, I think the left broadside has completely gone. There's basically no armor on this ship, on the sides, and then we got a core, heavily armored core with plasma components, which now you can see it's peeled back too, so it's definitely a close fight against this particular opponent. It's a decently meta design, I think, but our ship is designed to out-survive, so let's wait a couple more minutes and see. Okay, I think we had a good show. We'll probably be losing this one. In one of the earlier tests, we probably landed a lucky hit against an AI compartment on this Osprey from the side or engine, and we knocked it into the water just about. But you can see with a heavy frontside armor like this, it's very hard to fully disable or destroy one of these craft while we have a broadside layout. I mean, it's losing altitude, so it can potentially have a low engine output due to accumulated damage, which I think you can see is AI compartment, and then you can see exposed engines as well. We kept the plasma online this time. and we're at 65% fully airborne, and look at how many thrusters we still have online. So we can get engines knocked out. Let's just repair this and see. Have a little look at the internals here. We have a central core, the spinal mounted plasma, routed all the way down here, and we have heavy armor layer on the plasma spinal core, and then the broadside guns are completely unarmored because they only fire once every 2 minutes. So they fire, and then it's anyone's luck whether they get to fire a second time. The ammo is stored in non-chain reacting compartments like this, filled with heavy armor. And we got 1 engine, 2 engine, 3 engine, 4 engine, 5 engine, 6 small engines spread out through the back. So one good large explosive hit can potentially disable multiple engines, but with certain damage types it's almost impossible to hit them. And we got some steam plans for the plasma as well. So yeah, very distributed layout, just to keep the damage, keep the ship flying. So yeah, that's it for today's demos. Thank you guys very much for watching, and if you like From the Depths content, please remember consider to leave a like and subscribe. So thank you guys so much for watching. Bye.